Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever for a 1v1 high-level ladder cast on the beautiful boat map, Point of Reach. We have two very stellar players here today, with the blue player in the northern island and the red player in the southern island. Let's go ahead and get into their introductions, starting with the blue Cybran on the northern island. He is the magnificent, the one and only 3/1500s in a trench coat. His name is Tex, and he has gone first land. Then we can move on to the south, where we have ourselves a red Cybran. It's the one and only magnificent, beautiful, and dangerous Swackle. And that is a first land factory out from him as well. We can take a moment to look at this map and see all of its goodness. We have about 3,700 to 800 reclaim on the map for these players to scoop up. And of course, we can take a look at how this map plays and how these players will most likely approach it. So this map is a first land factory, second air factory start for most high level players. You occasionally see first air factory if they're going for some kind of cheese. I think both of these players will probably get into T1 air very, very heavily. We also have a lot of expansions going on, so very likely going to see a ton of transports. The map usually splits along this axis right here, so we're probably going to see Swackle controlling all of these islands down here, and all of the islands up here will be controlled by Tex if these players get on even footing with each other. We'll have to see if that happens. And of course, other than that, it's a boat map, and we're gonna see lots and lots of boats, because that's just kind of how this map kind of plays out. So let's go ahead and zoom in, get back to a normal view, and just see what these players are doing. We already have our first air factory finishing up now for Tex. It's going to finish up slightly faster, and by slightly faster, I mean actually majorly faster than Swackle. Swackle going for a bit more aggressive expansion with his engineers. His engineers have both already left the island and are heading to the side islands here, whereas Tex is just now getting them off his own island. So Swackle most likely going to end up with his engineers at his expansion islands a little bit earlier, so that's going to be a bit of a divergence between these two players. First scout, second interceptor coming out from Tex. Does he have any, what does he have up next? We have a bomber out from Tex. Let's go ahead and track this bad boy. Let's see exactly what kind of shenanigans he can get up to with this T1 air aggressive unit. Maybe going to be able to pick off a couple of engineers, and that is always very good, especially on maps like this where it's a 20-kilometer map. The first about 30 engineers are critical to every single build on a 20-kilometer map. If you don't lose any of them, you're very happy, and if you lose one of the first 10, it feels horrid. So we're gonna have to see exactly how aggressive he's gonna get with this. We can see on the minimap that a bomber is also out for Swackle, and it's gonna get shot down before even leaving its half of the map. Ooh, very unfortunate there for Swackle, as Tex with that earlier air factory managed to get out an interceptor just in time to do that. He's gonna run away with this interceptor, which is on 1 rank of veterancy. Oh no, it's gonna go down, but another interceptor shows up. The bomber comes in, kills off an engineer trying to build a mass extractor. Luckily, there's another engineer in the area to kind of help with this situation. Interceptor is coming around, trying to shoot down that bomber. Is he gonna be able to make it happen? He does manage to shoot down the bomber, so both players losing their bombers. Tex a little bit happier with that trade though, as he does manage to pick up one of the engineers. Nothing particularly critical going on there. The unfortunate side of it is that Swackle is losing that second engineer, meaning this factory over here going to be built a little bit slower. Over to the east right here, we have 2 engineers already on this island for Swackle. Going to make his expansion there a little bit faster, as there's only 1 engineer on the island for Tex. Both Tex and Swackle sending their ACUs to these larger side islands, and Tex currently first player with a transport out. He has a fully laden T1 transport filled with engineers, and he is making his way out to the western side of the map. Drops all 6 engineers right here on this big island. He's really going to get a lot of his expansion built quickly now. That's going to actually kind of affect how this was going to play out, with Swakle now going to be expanding a little bit slower. Swakle has his own transport out. It's been locked onto by a couple of interceptors, but he has his own responding interceptors showing up to try and shoot down Texas. He drops 2 engineers off over on the western side of this eastern island, and he's sending the transport away. The transport does get away from those interceptors just in time. Not gonna lose that transport. Does go pretty low on HP, down to 140 HP, and the rest of the engineers gonna be dropped off over here at this 4-mex expansion, which means that Swakle is going to be getting to his kind of outer expansion a little bit faster, and Tex just built a factory and a hydro and picked up those engineers again, and now he's going to drop them over here to this western island. So both sides getting their expansions down very, very efficiently, very quickly, as you would expect out of these 2 beautiful players. Tex, the man with enough APM for anybody, and Swakle, his tried and true opponent. They have gone up against each other many a times, and both sides have won their fair share. Of course, rating wise, we can look, it's 2409 versus 2195. That is a relatively large difference, but we've seen Swakle take down Tex, and we've seen Tex take down Swakle on this channel. They are somewhat becoming classics on the channel. We cast them relatively often now, and they are very fun to watch. We have a early kind of air grid now going up for Tex. He has 3 air factories versus Swakle sitting on only 2. Swakle now getting into the Navy very early, going to be throwing up himself some lines of naval factories. Even has one finished over here to the west already, and we have our first naval factory just now finishing up for Tex over here on the eastern side. He's also going to be building a line of factories over here. Naval factories in the early game on this map are incredibly important, and we're going to see a lot of T1 naval factories thrown up and a lot of frigates out onto the map very quickly. Swakle currently has 3 Medusa on a transport, and he's going for a very aggressive drop. Going to be trying to get these Medusa onto the main island of Tex. If he is able to do that, could possibly pick up a few T1 mexes and really just deal some damage down on towards Tex's main base. Gonna have to see exactly how much damage that will be, and if it will be any kind of significant. This transport really unhappy. This is the one that was sent to the eastern island earlier and took a lot of damage at that. There's already a Mantis out over here, so that's going to be able to kind of shut down these Medusa pretty easily. All 3 Medusa managed to land, and the transport immediately running away. Gonna have to see if it gets shot down or not. The Medusa going down very quickly. I don't think they're going to get any damage done, so that's just kind of a few extra reclaim bits right here for Tex to pick up. The transport does manage to make its way out, and it is relatively safe now. Over to the west, we have both the expansion for Tex, and to the east, the expansion for Swakle, going very well, and we do have that kind of even split where both sides are splitting the map 50-50. So as of right now, both players on equal footing, although Tex a little bit ahead economically, 75 mass a second versus Swakle, who is in a power stall, which is going to be really brutal. What is causing that power stall? He's building a lot of pigeons over here, but there has to be something causing that in particular. He's pulling a lot of power this early into the game, only 8 minutes in, already pulling over 1,000 power per second. And over to the west, a Medusa drop with a couple of engineers, or no, that's all Medusa. I thought I saw an engineer sign on there somewhere. Gonna be dropped off over here. Swakle going very aggressive with the Medusa drops, loving to see it. Unfortunately though, he keeps on dropping his Medusa right next to Mantis, but this Mantis may go down. Oh! Micro! Oh no, he walked back into the shot out of that Medusa, so Mantis goes down. Another Medusa going to be heading down here to the south. A radar that's going to be thrown up is going to be quickly slated for death, as this Medusa almost assuredly kills off this engineer and the radar. Or maybe not. You could get a reclaim order out if you do enough good micro, and we know Tex has the APM to do so. We have a few frigates now kicking around on various points of the map. A frigate kind of just passing by this production, shooting each of these buildings a couple of times. They're Cybern, so they will regen up a little bit. The Medusa over here managing to kill off that engineer, and the building radar gonna just slow down the expansion here and deny a little bit of intel. That radar could have been very useful. Actually, both sides building their radars on almost the exact same spot. Man, that is actually kind of trippy. They chose the exact same spot for their radars. Oh, wait. The Cyberns have a cross on their radar template? Are the Cyberns just like trying to lean into the goth thing? They got like the spiky black kind of look, kind of like edgelord stuff, and then you got crosses on your foundations for your buildings. Guys, I think the Cyberns are goths. Huh. Interesting. As over here to the west, we have a bit of a naval engagement going on. Tech's gonna be worse for wear over here. He is gonna pick up one of those frigates out from Swakle, but in return, both of his frigates gonna go down. You're seeing a little bit of, I don't know if it's intentional, but we're seeing a little bit of focus fire coming out from both sides, which is very nice to see. Focus fire, very effective in the Navy, where you have a lot more of these consolidated health point pools, where there's a lot of HP on even the T1 units, over 1,000, nearly 2,000 on the Cybern frigates, and Cybern usually having that lower HP pool. As over here to the north of that naval engagement, we have a few Medusas dropped and able to pick off a few mass extractors. These Medusa drops, not necessarily the most efficient thing going on, but definitely forcing Tex to kind of play a little bit, I don't know, he's having to put out fires. As over here to the east, T2 Air has been rushed out by Tex, and he's got a Renegade for raiding. Gunship's incredibly good at raiding in the early to mid game. It's actually, I think their best use is a raiding unit. You usually see them used for snipes and such, but as a raiding unit, just a unit that is supposed to get the periphery mexes, kind of abuse the fact that your opponent is spread out quite a bit. Renegades, Spectres, Stingers, and Volthus are amazing at that. As over here to the west, a large number of frigates now out for Swakle, and there's only 3 frigates to defend here, and there's also all of these naval factories now under threat. We also have something similar going on down here to the east. Naval factory already taken out for Swakle, and now another one under threat. Swakle has a lot of naval presence over here that he needs to address, but he is getting something back on the other side of the map, doing a bit of cross-map trading now, are these players. And I think that Swakle's going to come out ahead on this one. He's going to be able to kill off all 3 of these naval factories. He even has more reinforcements coming up constantly, and it's just starting to look a little bit dangerous over here for Tex. He does have a few torpedo bombers out onto the map. Those are going to affect this at least a little bit, but he just doesn't have the frigate count, and the frigate count is what really matters right here. So all of the frigates now for Tex are gone, and these frigates out for Swakle going to be able to just walk in, kill off this naval production, and losing naval production is a really big blow. It's difficult to rebuild. Yes, the naval factories, you can throw them up very quickly, but you're losing just the immediate situation, and right now we're going to be seeing Tex sitting on probably less frigates than Swakle. Swakle already up to 19, nearing 20, and 17 for Tex. That's going to become a bit bigger of a disparity as long as Swakle just continues to be able to defend against the frigates over here on the eastern side. He didn't invest as heavily on building naval factories near this island, and now he's pushing in. There's 3 more naval factories under threat, and I just don't see how Tex is going to be able to stop this naval incursion coming out from Swakle. So Swakle getting the better end of these early game air naval trades, and a transport drop over here to the west. Are any of these mechs upgrading? Thankfully not. From Tex, going to be able to land here, has a couple of Mantis and Medusa for good measure. Going to be able to kill off that radar, and now going to start working on killing off all these mexes, and they are all assuredly going to go down. The transport may even be able to get away if it's lucky, but no, a interceptor locks on, transport goes down. Over here to the north of the main island of Swakle, we have a little bit of a naval engagement. Going to go very poorly for Swakle, only 3 frigates versus about 7 or 8 out for Tex. That only goes one way. Up here to the north, more naval production, as I was talking about earlier, for Tex. Gonna be going down here. Swakle being very dominant over here on the western side of the map, and he is going to be able to shoot down these factories and then summarily execute the frigates that were loitering around this area for Tex, and that is going to result in Tex just not having enough frigate production over here on the western side. He's lost every factory on the western side of the map, and Tex is gonna be reeling from that for a little bit, although he has chance to do a bit of counter damage over here to the south. That's a lot of naval factories. Let's just go ahead and check the naval factory count. We're already up to 13 for Swackle. Let's look at Tex, who is sitting on a paltry 10, and 9 of them aren't producing currently, or are some way idle. So that is very, very unfortunate for Tex right now. He's just going to be behind on the naval game. A couple of renegades coming out to even help deal with these frigates. The frigates will eventually kill the renegades. The renegades not so mobile as to dodge the frigate fire. Those renegades going down as more frigates are pouring into this eastern quadrant, but these frigates over here for Tex not going to be able to get too much done. The Trident class is good, but it's not good enough to take on 30 Trident classes with 6. So that is going to be a harassment. It's going to be annoying for Swackle to deal with, but by no means going to be unmanageable. A T2 transport over here getting chased down by some interceptors out from Tex. Tex is going to lose these interceptors to the pursuing interceptors out from Swackle. And he has even more, really committing to flying over the base. This seems like kind of a mistake. Although Swackle not really responding, letting all of his interceptors land over here. This T2 transport gonna go down very quickly with this many interceptors on it. Half of the interceptors for Tex decide to pull off, and these about 5 or 6 interceptors should be able to kill off this T2 transport no issue. Although not sure how effective that's gonna be, as there's another T2 transport already lined up, and that's a lot of Medusa to be loaded onto that for harassment purposes. We have a group of 6 renegades now built up for Tex. He's going to start sending those over to this eastern expansion island for Swackle. And as we take a look at the economies, Swackle has now gained himself a decent lead, nearly 40 mass a second ahead of Tex. And that is going to be thanks in large part to the T2 mexes, full T2 mexes in fact, on the main island, and even more built up over here where Swackle's comm is. The renegades come in, they're going to be able to start killing off a lot of these structures, and with all of these interceptors in the area, I don't think Swackle can really contest this air attack coming out from Tex. Tex going to be able to use these renegades very effectively, starting to kill off some mass extractors. May just be able to oust Swackle from this island entirely. Needs to make sure he keeps them moving, needs to make sure they continue to fight and kill off units and mexes over here on this island. He needs to be very aggressive, and you can see right here, he's not doing like an attack move or anything special. He's just moving. The renegades have enough DPS that T1 structures just do not last long enough to be dealt with, and very quickly, the presence on this island for Swackle is evaporating, and it's not looking good for the Red Cybran in the south, as he's losing this island very, very quickly to the air pressure coming out from Tex. In the center, we have a large group of frigates now out for Swackle. Swackle still on a massive advantage in the Navy, 43 frigates versus Tex's paltry 33. 10 frigates less is significant, and right now Swackle is really just conglomerating all of his frigates here in the middle, may be able to just punch Tex in the face. The renegades continuing their ways, killing off a lot of stuff over here. A few of them have gone down, or no, just one. There was 7 total, I think. And that is going to result in this entire island being denied now from Swackle, and he has engineers already on the way over here. Tex is going to be able to re-expand into this area very quickly, and that's going to be very brutal on to Swackle. But Swackle, with the better eco upgrades, means that he's not too far behind Tex despite losing all of these T1 mexes. He's only about 10 mass a second behind, though earlier he was basically he was 40 mass a second ahead pretty much, so it's still a blow. He's still unhappy about the situation, but it's nothing too horrid. It's just unfortunate at this point. A lot of frigates now coming towards the main island of Tex, and he's gonna be able to respond to this. He does have a decent number of frigates of his own, but this is a lot to deal with. How many? Oh, all of these production lines are about to pump out a frigate. This might be a bit of a blunder for Swackle. He's gonna have a lot of frigates over here, that's for sure. But is it gonna be enough to even get any sustained damage? If he really commits and focus fires, he can kill off factories. But I'm not sure you want to trade your frigate advantage for factories at this given moment. He is going to be coming in here. Some engineers going to be going down. A lot of tridents for techs are also going to go down. This is still a very significant force. It's just that Swakle does not have the numbers advantage here, so this is going to be a kind of sacrificial, suicidal attack onto Tech's production. Not even sure it's going to get the desired result out here for Swakle. He might be able to kill off this factory if he stops running. Oh no, he's going to kill it off just with the run-by. More factories may go down due to this run-by. He's going to continue to move. As long as he tries to just stay away from all of these frigates coming out from Tex, it could be all right. And Tex quickly expanding to this island over here to the east. And now Swakle, yet again, he's in the income advantage despite losing that island, and that island now being hoovered up by Tex. Of course, that's going to be resulting in Tex getting a bit of a reclaim lead very soon. There's a lot of reclaim on this island to scoop up. And the frigates up here to the north, as I said, Swakle losing a ton of frigates to this. He's not losing all of them, which is key. He has a bunch of frigates down here, and that's a lot of build power to be taken down very soon for Tex. That's going to be a little bit unfortunate for the Blue Cybran in the north. A few frigates down here to the south going to be cornered and summarily executed by Swakle's armada of frigates. And with this island being cleaned up, Tex has very securely managed to wrestle map control away from Swakle. Swakle kind of backed into a corner, but he is still sitting on a very strong economy. He has T3 on his ACU. He really needs to still address the fact that he is kind of just behind in air, though. And he has addressed that. He has T3 air finished up. Oh, Lord. He has T3 air. He has multiple T3 air factories. He has another factory going T3 air. That is going to be a huge development because he's at T3 air. He has his power generator done. T3 air has just finished up for Tex. And he has his T3 power generator as well, so he's not too far behind, but he's building a bunch of Renegades again. Gonna try and get more damage done with those T2 gunships. And, of course, that's going to be significant. Do we have any kind of... We have a Strat Bomber out on the field. Can't believe I missed that. It seems to have picked up... No, it hasn't even dropped a bomb and picked up any kills yet. It's kind of waffling around, it would seem. Gonna be coming in over here. Gonna be able to drop a bomb onto these frigates. How many is he gonna get? He's going to get 3 frigates, bringing up the damage total on that Revenant to 750 mass killed. And going to be able to continue. We'll keep tracking this Strat Bomber while we're zoomed out a little bit. A bit of a naval engagement going on over here to the west. Swakle seemingly having more here as Tex retreats. Going to probably go the way of Swakle, but both sides going to lose the majority of their frigates there most likely. Another bomb out from that Revenant, managing to pick up another about 100 mass killed. This is not what you want to see out of a strategic bomber rush, if I'm entirely honest, but he is going to be able to get a little bit more damage done. Some T1 mechs is now under threat. That's going to be 2 T1 mechs is going down, maybe even an engineer. Nope, no engineer. And it's going to result in this bomber going up to nearly 1,000 mass killed, so he's getting kind of close to what he wants to be at. An air engagement between a bunch of interceptors and some ASF out from Swakle gonna result in a lot of dead interceptors, but the ASF out from Swakle gonna be going down as well, as interceptors can trade with ASF, especially in fights like these. All of the ASF for Swakle gonna go down there. The Strat Bomber up to 1,100 mass killed, getting a lot of value, at least for what it's attacking. Like, it's killed off a lot of T1 stuff, hasn't been able to get to the juicier targets, hasn't been able to get the ideal targets, which are T2 mass extractors and T2 power generators, but of course, you cannot be a chooser if you are a beggar, and he's kind of begging for targets that won't result in the death of the Strat Bomber. And right now, another frigate going to be going down. Over here to the north, that's a lot of frigates grouped up. That could be a huge bomb. Does Swakle see all of the... Oh, he could see all those units bunched up on each other. Oh, Swakle, you need to hit that. Come on, dude. Give me that beautiful, beautiful bomber attack. He has an attack move put down now. Oh my lord, that could be so many frigates killed. We're gonna leave this on just to see. Oh no, he doesn't drop. The micro goes bad. Oh, is he gonna just die on this pass? No, he doesn't die on the pass, which is good for him. He's gonna come back around. The bomb's gonna drop. Oh, the bomber goes down. We didn't get quite a chance to see how much mass and frigates that was, but that is a lot of frigates going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 frigates going down to one strategic bomber. That is actually a juicy, juicy hit coming out from Swackle. I'm sure he's not necessarily happy with the strat bomber. Didn't really get any economical damage done, but did deal a decent amount of damage onto some units. And now in the middle, a large frigate fight going down, and Swackle seemingly in the better end of that trade. A few units dropped over to this eastern island where Swackle's comm is. He just throws up a Cerberus very quickly to deal with that. Even built a Gunther. Wonder what that's for. Maybe killing off frigates that roam too close to this little bay over here. Torpedo bombers out on the center of the map. They will get shot down eventually by frigates, especially if they run in like that. And there's also a cruiser out on the map. T2 transport nearly fully laden. Gonna go down right there. And that is unfortunate for Tex, because I'm sure he doesn't want to be continuously dropping all of these large groupings of mass with these transports everywhere. T2 transport fully laden with a bunch of Medusa, going to be dropped over to this western island now. The T2 transport game out from both of these players being quite strong. I would say Swackle getting a little bit better end of the deals, and Swackle has taken a huge mass generation advantage, nearly 100 mass a second ahead, and that's thanks largely to the fact that his main island is almost fully T3, whereas Tex only has a couple of he has like the core mass is T3, that's it. Even has T1 mechs is still on his island. I wonder if that's if he just forgot that or that somehow died recently. And there are engineers being dropped into the water over here to the east. More Medusa being dropped to the eastern island over here. And these Medusa dropped on this western island going to be able to pick up a T2 mech. That's not going to be feeling too good for Tex. And the mechs is over here going to be under threat. Maybe even a couple of factories could go down. Oh, does this have it's an EMP weapon? The T2 Cybran transport has a stun. Did not know that. I know that got changed, but that's interesting. And the Medusa's going to be able to kill off a T2 transport. Yep, that's quite interesting. As these Medusas continue to get some value out over here. T3 Navy finished up, and a nuke sub on the way. A Plan B strategic missile submarine going to be built very soon. That could be very dangerous. A very hidden nuke. It does build the nuke a little bit slower than the traditional nuclear missile launcher. And a SMD already out for Tex, really preparing to get nestled in for the long game here. Neither side having distinct advantage. A bunch of Barracudas now built up for Tex, and those are going to be very, very scary. The U-boats, they are attacking, and unfortunately for Tex, or no, for Swackle, he has one destroyer. That is 6 Barracudas. The destroyer is the only thing here that can shoot those Barracudas. And that is going to mean that this is just going to be a horrible fight if Swackle takes it. And on top of that, it's just going to be a horrible situation in general. Really needs to pump out a bunch of destroyers or start making his own Barracudas to combat that. Or maybe even just a stopgap measure, build some T1 submarines. Over here to the west, a torpedo bomber brigade starting to deal with these more harassing frigates. Harassing frigates coming out over here to the east. May be able to pick up some production damage if Swackle is paying attention and lucky. Focus down 2 or 3 of these T1 naval factories. And the engineer just went down, so that means that the naval factory is going to have trouble being replaced. Although, if any of them survive, that just means you just use the factory to build one engineer and then you replace them. Medusa drop over here to the east, managing to get some decent damage down onto this island. But not anything particularly back-breaking for Tex. Swackle he's 200 mass a second ahead. He's building a nuke launcher, and he's not stalling. He's doing incredibly well right now economically. Tex he's stalling as much mass as he's producing. He's using twice as much mass as he's producing right now. That's going to be a little bit brutal. And when he's stalling mass, that means that this strategic missile defense not going to be able to load nearly as quickly as maybe he would want. And with this nuke launcher going up, with the Hive's assistance, with all of these T1 engineers going to be able to assist it, that would be a dangerous proposition. May even see a world where Swackle can beat the pace of that SMD and load his nuke faster despite having his nuke built later. As over here to the center of the map, naval battles going on, and that's gonna be a huge victory coming out for Tex. He just has more destroyers, he's got those Barracudas, he has more frigates. Tex is just ahead economically right now. Or not economically, he's just ahead naval unit wise. And he has this nuke sub out here. It's launching its tactical missiles, and the tactical missiles out from the Plan B nuclear missile submarine are actually quite damaging. Looks like it's targeting maybe this T3 mechs. Let's see how much damage these do. I remember it being brutal. 2,000 damage on the nose. And it's only going to take about 4 of those missiles to kill off this entire T3 mass extractor. Another missile flying out from that Plan B nuclear missile submarine. And Gunther's being thrown out over here for Swackle, seemingly in a power stall. Oh wait, nope, that shield just got taken down. And the T3 mass extractor going to be going down to this next missile. Oh wait, no, the missile changes target to hit another mass extractor. Needs to make sure he finishes off that first one. Is this missile going to come in and finish this off? I wonder if he has attack moves directly on the mass extractors. That mass extractor, it's out of here. And over here to the west, a few more destroyers have been added in, and Tex's naval attack has kind of fallen to the wayside. Not quite able to get the damage done to the point where he could walk into the production. Lots of production now spammed up for Swackle. And a Galaxy-class battleship on the way, and one already finished for Tex. That T3 naval switch may come in clutch right here, as Swackle's nuke is beginning to build up to about 30%. Let's go ahead and check on the SMD. It's actually behind the nuke launcher right now, so that means Tex is going to have to play catch-up. Although right now, no longer stalling mass means that that's going to continue to load very quickly. Swackle not stalling mass either means that he's going to be able to deal with that as well. He's going to be able to load it about as fast as he has build power to load it with. And in the center, Tex still trying to get some naval supremacy here, but Swackle pushing him back very well. That nuclear missile submarine managing to get the kill on that T3 mechs was huge. 6.6 thousand mass killed. Now launching some missiles over towards the island where Swackle's comm is. No TMD built up. I don't think Swackle has the wherewithal or the attention to notice what's going on there. He hasn't built an SMD on either of his islands, so I'm sure he would if he realized that's a nuke sub. But it's a lot to track, and there's a lot of yellow dots flying around. It's hard to tell if it's a tactical missile or just a larger attack coming out from one of these. And it's also one of the smaller dots, if I'm completely honest. Kind of looks like the same dot you get for a Medusa fire. That's another T3 mechs on the verge of going down. Is he going to be able to secure it? I think that there might be enough missiles in the air right now to secure it. And yes, there are indeed, if that missile does connect over here. The Cybern cruisers do have TMD, which is something to note. Down goes that T3 mechs, bringing this to a 1 vet plan B. I don't know if this plan B is even launching, if it's even building a nuclear missile. Seems like he might just be using it to get some economic damage down onto Swackle. He's catching up slowly. It's down to a 100 mass a second differential between these players. The nuke is at 80-ish%, 75 to 80-ish%. The anti-nuke is neck and neck. This is going to be a very, very close situation, but maybe not even relevant, as Swackle may just decide to try and nuke this area over here with Texas Comm. That's still T3 mexes. That still is 100 mass a second plus that you can just remove from the table for Tex in 1 click. So that may be the safer option for Tex, or for Swackle, to use his nuclear launch on. He is already about to be loaded. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a beautiful launch tracking shot here. It is loaded, and it is already firing. Swackle, a man after my own heart, he launches the nuke the second it's done loading, and that strategic launch has been detected. And that is going to be a missile flying its way towards the main base of Tex. Let's see if he loads in time. It's gonna be close. They were neck and neck with the building. Is this missile going to land? It's coming over. It looks like it's going to land. No, the anti-nuke loads at the last possible second. And Swackle, that's a bit of a heartbreaker. He's not doing well in the Navy. There's multiple battleships, 3 now completed for Tex. And those are going to start taking a huge toll, as just now Swackle finishes up his own T3 naval HQ, and that means that he's just going to be behind on the Navy. He has the mass advantage, but that doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot whenever you don't have the unit advantage. He's going to have to build up some Galaxy class battleships very quickly, and right now that HQ is idle. Doesn't even have a order after the upgrade has finished. And that is a bit brutal. Tex managing to get this map control is really starting to look a little bit desperate, but yet again, Swackle sitting on this economic advantage is quite huge. Plan B missile submarine up to 14,000 mass killed. Can one-shot these T2 mass extractors. Would love to see maybe just telling it to focus mexes and then just constantly throw scouts out. It will kill off all of the mexes very quickly, as long as there's no TMD. Oh, 2 more mexes over here just finished becoming T2. That's a dead hydrocarbon. Don't know why you would target that. That is not the best decision in my opinion, as the hydrocarbon really not producing enough power to be significant for Swackle's economy anymore. As the Galaxy class battleship over here getting swamped in a lot of T1 and T2 units, but unfortunately that's a huge health pool to have to chew through with T1 and T2 units, which means that any damage going into that battleship is kind of a waste. You want it to be going into these frigates, you want to be getting an advantage on the smaller units. The battleship not necessarily going to be killing off too many units itself. It's not going to have the damage. The real thing with the battleship is its insane range that you are mainly worried about. Whenever you're able to get in close, the battleship does go down relatively quickly. In fact, we're going to see this battleship possibly going down in just a moment. Yep, down to 5,000 HP. No, it's actually probably living through this encounter. Maybe not, with the torpedo bombers streaming in every so often. The naval engagement, though, going extremely poorly for Swackle. Tex taking a victory there. Over here to the northeast, a bunch of frigates making their way into the production line of Tex. Would like to see a lot of these engineers taken down, but that may not even matter with all of these hives on the island assisting that T3 Naval HQ. Teleporter now on the way for Tex. He also already has laser. Tex going for the spicy play. Is he just going to go for a snipe onto Swackle? He could totally get it. Does he know where Swackle's commander is? He does not. But this still would be a good option for a teleport play, in my opinion. Seems as though this is a desperation play coming out from Tex. Maybe he's correctly realized he's behind economically. Submarine over here up to 16,000 mass killed. Very expensive, the most expensive mobile missile launcher I think I've ever seen. But it's been very interesting to see him use it the way he has. Teleporter gonna finish up momentarily. Nuke loaded. Surprised he hasn't fired it already. Teleporter 97, 98, 99. It is completed. Is he going to teleport immediately? Nuke coming down. He needs to walk away and then teleport, or teleport right now. Oh man, this is gonna be a nail biter. He starts teleporting. Will he teleport in time? Oh, this is gonna be close. Okay. Is Tex gonna teleport in time, or will that nuke come down? Nuke's coming in. Tex's teleport bar was loading very quickly there. Where is he going? He manages to teleport away in time as the nuke lands moments after he teleports through. And Tex walking in. Perhaps nobody more fitting, name-wise, to be called a laser space cowboy than the man himself, Tex. And he is dealing an inordinate amount of damage, but there's a lot of Medusa over here. Needs to make sure he keeps the comm moving, keep it from taking too terribly much damage from all these Medusa. He can't even stop the comm moving to try and teleport out at the moment, as if he does, he will just end up dying. Renegade's coming in to fire onto the commander. His comm down to 2,600 HP. Needs to get a rank of veterans. He may be focused down one of these mass extractors or something. Oh, it's gonna be close. Is he gonna get a rank of veterans in time? No, he does not, and Tex dies. And that will be the end of the match. Thank you all for watching. You have been so beautiful. Thank you to the patrons and channel members. If you are a channel member, you get access to these videos earlier. If you're a Patreon, you get your name placed at the end of each and every video. And that is a beautiful way to support me. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you didn't enjoy it, dislike. You are beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. This is Willow, signing off.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.